Hello and welcome back, everyone. This is Scootsy16. Thanks for joining me again today for another episode of the Windy City Thunderbolts in the Super Mega Legends League. All right, well, last time we left off, we just saw that our team is continuing to struggle, but if you recall, there were a few players that we were prepared to sign. So I'm going to go ahead and start this episode off by signing a few players, and we're going to say goodbye to a few players we've had on the team. And I've enjoyed seeing and watch play, but I think we need to shake things up a little bit if we want any chance of being successful this year. So the changes that I'm planning to make today, we're starting with one that I didn't even talk about prior to in the last episode, but I noticed after I turned off the last episode, and that is Rick Ruschel. He is negative zero point 0.6 under his current value, and this is a great opportunity to change things around in our starting rotation. Our current ace, Nick Dieguez, has not been able to do much for us, and he hasn't been his ace. So Rick Ruschel being younger, being a player that does have three pitches, which I don't like, but really high accuracy and velocity. I like this idea, and I'm going to go ahead and start off by making this decision. Now, one thing to note, this does completely throw off my chemistry plan, so you will see me make a decision. I'll leave this to be the last decision before we get into the next game, that I think some of you might be questioning, but I'll explain it as I go. So, first decision, Nick Dieguez out, Rick Ruschel in. Here we go. We made some money there. Next, Track Statsman. I've been mulling this one over. He is currently plus 2.2 million over asking. I don't think that I could wait another set of games for his value to drop. I think someone's going to sign him. So we do go ahead and replace Aria Combs. I've enjoyed having her on the team. She has been successful comparatively to her current skill level, but I don't think we can pass up an opportunity to bring in Track Statsman. This is a plan that we've had. He's much faster, has better contact, has RBI hero, which I really love, and we're not taking much of a hit in the fielding department. So here comes Track Statsman. Really excited to have him on the team. Next, I'm actually going to be taking on a couple of other players that are above or that are asking for more than their current value, but I do not want to risk losing them. And one of those is Kara Pickles. So Kara Pickles, one I've been talking about since this series started, is coming in to replace Arsenio Cardenas. Again, you'll see the method to my madness as we go. So even though we're increasing the cost, we are also increasing our skill level here. So Arsenio Cardenas has done well, but he is 35. Carapickle's much younger, much better fielder, and much better hitter, especially when you include that outside pitch trait and that first pitch slayer trait. So out of this team goes Cardenas, in comes Kara Pickles. Great name too, so happy to have her on the team. All right, next we have Elroy Action. Elroy is coming in as another second base option, and he is coming in to replace our current Rick Burleson. So while Rick has better fielding traits, I'm more interested in Elroy for his speed, his age, and his contact. Even better hitter compared to Burleson as well. So excited to have him come in. I'm sure him and Willie Randolph will alternate from time to time, but Willie is going to be our main starter at second base still. So here comes another change, Elroy Action for Rick Burleson. All right, so you can see we're getting a little low on the funds. I like to stay around the 10 million mark when I'm trying to build out the value of my team. But there is, and also, by the way, Mackenzie Perry is the last change that we'll make on this team. She's 19. She's a lefty. She's got some room to grow, but she's currently over value, and I do want to get her down. And since she's a C+, I do not see her leaving before she gets at least to that 4.2 million. But here's the additional decision that I had to make because of the chemistry situation. So We take Boomer Platoon, and we replace Boomer, or we bring in Boomer to replace Spitz McKinney. I know. I was not happy about doing this, and I tried everything I could to come up with a solution to make this work, but it just did not. And so, unfortunately, Spitz is gone, and Boomer Platoon is coming in. Boomer coming in as just a bigger bat to have on the team, as well as that spirited trait instead of competitive. So there's that decision. And the last one we're going to be making, like I said, is going to be um, the decision of bringing in Mackenzie Perry to replace Marv Knockmore, who's 39. And this is going to be a much better decision for us for the longevity of our team, but also for the effectiveness and the growth of our team. Both have specialists, so that won't change. And as you can see, when we do make that change, we will be dropping down to our bottom level of the scholarly trait, but we will be maxed back out at the discipline trait. So that's where I'm thinking our team is going to look after we get Mackenzie Perry back in. And when we make that decision, we'll be at just about 11.3 for development funds. And boy, Mackenzie Perry has an awful looking face, but we'll be bringing her in just a little bit. So I was looking at the schedule as well, and while Cecil Sawyer is juiced for this game, I actually want to sim forward to the next game because we have not gotten a chance to see Coyle Marshall pitch yet, if my memory serves me right. And our last episode, we had Cecil Sawyer pitch. So we're going to sim ahead one more game here. Let's see what happens to the reinvigorated Windy City Thunderbolts. Same old, same old. We take another loss there, unfortunately. But now that we have made so many changes to the team, now that we've made so many changes to the team, I'm hoping that our current 23-35 record with a negative 75 run differential will look a lot different by the end of the season. So let's go ahead and get this game underway. We do get a development option for Boomer Platoon right out of the gate, but definitely not going to do that for him as he is older at 34. So, as my memory serves me, this will be our first opportunity to see Coyle Marshall pitch. I'm doing our suggested lineup to start, and right out of the gate, Kara Pickles is already tense, but I'm going to let her play this game because I'd like to see her in our first matchup here. Beefcake is tense as well. David Ortiz is going to be our DH track statsman at right. Justin Morneau at first. Hank Hart catching. Willie Randolph at second. Prince Chavez in center. And Cash Basket running everything out in left. But I am going to redo this, so let's go ahead and go Chavez leading off. Actually, I'm going to put Willie Randolph in the leadoff spot. Chavez will bump down. And I'm actually going to play the same scenario. Trek Statsman will come in to be the new Spitz McKinney. We have Beefcake and David Ortiz that are going to be our offensive firepower, but I'll let David Ortiz take the 3-spot, Beefcake in the 4. Chavez let's see who our pitcher we're facing off against is a righty, so we won't have those contact versus lefty traits activated or power versus lefty. So let's put Hank Hart after Beefcake, and we'll round out the rest of the team looking like this. And for the new uniform, we're going to go with our traditional home. Let's go ahead and get started. And as you saw when I peeked over at their pitcher, their team has a rattled Duncan at second base in their 9-spot, but the rest of their team is looking all right compared to ours. Their rotation is their highest attribute on their team. They are rotational aces, but we will be facing their number 4 pitcher. So we have a little bit of leverage here that hopefully we can take advantage of. Now, Coil Tattersall comes in as their number one, or Cole Tattersall versus Coil Marshall is going to be how this game starts. Cole, that's going to mess me up all game. I apologize in advance. Cole has contact versus right-handers maxed out, and he takes advantage of it there. Puts a charge into that one. Chavez gets it off the wall, throws it in quickly, but that is going to be a leadoff double. That one just kind of felt like all Chavez had to do was reach up and he'd catch it, but there we are. Maddie Bats comes in facing Coil Marshall, who is a development option for us, and is, I believe, 22 years old with a workhorse trait. The talent is not there yet, but there is a skeleton that we can build off of. So we're hoping that some development opportunities come along this year for him this season. So Maddie Bats flies out to shallow center. Runner has to stay at second, and here comes Bobby Bash, who is locked in with off-speed hitter at tier 2. Trying to use it right then and there. Takes ball 1 inside. Now, Bobby Bash also has that wild thrower trait, and he's going to be playing it short today. So we're hoping, even though it's tier 2, we can see that kick in a couple of times, maybe some wild throws. Bobby Bash fighting off a few pitches, 1 and 2 count with 1 out. And that ball gets by Hank Hart. Not sure what happened there, but the runner gets to advance to third. That doesn't even have crossed up, and somehow that pitch just kind of got in on Hart's hand. And after quite a few pitches, Bobby Bash strikes out for out number 2, and here comes Hito Moonshada, who has a tier 2 high pitch. Very great power hitter, and he's going to be a threat all year long in this division, but definitely going to be a threat in this game. Two and 2 count. Ball 3 high, and we worked it full. Coyle could not hit his spot there. It was just too far inside and high. And we moved to their number 5 hitter, catcher Romeo Cannon, who, great name if he had as a cannon arm, but we see tons of power here on a locked-in cannon line straight out to Kara Pickles to end the inning. So even though we had a leadoff double and we did allow a walk, no harm there, and we are able to go into the bottom of the first with a fresh game, 0-0. Donovan Instigate is their pitcher. This is their number 4 starter, along with our number 4 starter. And Willie Randolph starts the game off with a base hit right up the middle, and here comes Track Statsman. We can potentially take advantage of some speed here, but Cannon is locked in behind the plate, and he has a good arm, so might be a little risky to try and move on him. But Track Statsman, we do get to see the stealing effort, and it was just enough to get Willie Randolph for out number 1, and he loses some mojo there. Really unfortunate. With 3 balls, we see Instigate's walk-prone trait kick in, and he does give up a walk. So Track Statsman is on first now with 1 out, and David Ortiz comes up. And pretty unfortunate that Randolph tried to steal there when we got the walk right on the next pitch. 1 and 2 count. And Ortiz lines that one, and High Arc was able to knock it down and get it over to first, but we did see Ortiz got hurt there, so hopefully it's minor, and he pulled his hammy. So David Ortiz, while he doesn't play the field, a pulled hammy can still affect his hitting traits, and that's concerning. We'll have to see if he's going to play the rest of this game and how much of an impact that's going to have on him now and for the next few games. So here comes Delbert Hayark, who their first baseman who knocked that ball down and made a good play at first to get out number 2 in the last inning. Good contact, but not much speed or power. No traits either. Batting .265 in the season, so really nothing standing out here for him. But if you've seen any of my other episodes, usually after I say that, they do something pretty substantial. So full count here, fighting off a couple of pitches, just barely able to make contact, and grounds that one out to Kara Pickles, tosses it over to Morneau for out number 1. Their designated hitter today is going to be Filet Jones, who has incredible amounts of power, but not much contact that we're hoping we can take advantage of here. He does have Noodle Arm, but as the DH, we won't see that activated. And 3 pitches, and there's out number 2. Filet strikes out swinging. And if you were listening there, they pronounced his name Neville Quinn. So hopefully I can say that right throughout today's game. A couple of odd names for the Mammo Tanks. Coyle trying to settle in. And he does, getting that line out, weak liner to Kara Pickles for out number 3, and a good inning for Coyle Marshall in inning number 2. So here come the Windy City Thunderbolts, who kind of squandered an opportunity in the first. Starting off with Hank Hart, who again has that first pitch prayer trait, but now it's no longer maximum debuff. But it only counts for 1 pitch, so 1-2 count here. Hart takes ball 2 inside. And Hart lines one to the right center field gap, and Matty Batts gets to that one quickly. Errant throw, but it does not have any effect here. And Hank Hart leads off the second inning with a leadoff double. Love to see that. Here comes Prince Chavez, who we've had at the top of the order for most of this season, but again, trying to shake things up a little bit. I do think that if he was leading off with a base hit, that Steeler trait would have saved him from getting out at second base, but we'll never know. Grounds out to first baseman there and advances the runner to third. So with 1 out, here comes Justin Morneau with a runner on third base, and we're hoping that he can get into a groove. Maybe the chemistry adjustments are what he needed, even though he doesn't have any traits himself. And it doesn't seem to be making much of a difference here as he swings through strike number 3, and his mojo drops to tense. Here comes Kara Pickles, who was 0 in her debut last game, which we didn't get to see, but we see that she has a 0 batting average, and she, as a tense shortstop, grounds out to the first baseman for out number 3. So a leadoff double for us means nothing as we go into the top of the third. We face off against their second baseman, who's rattled, their number 9 hitter, Charlie Duncan. So we'll see if we can make sure he stays this way throughout this ball game. Coyle just misses low. That curveball drops in for strike 2, and Duncan flies out lazily to center field. Chavez is there for out number 1. We're back to the top of the order. Here's Cole Tattersall, 1 for 1 with a double today. Hasn't been doing much this year, but does have that contact versus right-hander active once again. Might be the only spirited trait that I recall seeing through the starting lineup. I could be wrong, but they maxed out those spirited traits, and right now there might have been one other guy that had clutch. I don't recall. So if you're going to max out spirited, and here comes Kara Pickles with a hell of a play, diving to her right, getting that one before it reaches the outfield, and I don't know if Cardenas makes that same play. It was a close call at first base, but she's able to get the out. All right, up comes Cash Basket, our first time getting a chance to see her. It looks like she went maybe 1 for 3 yesterday. and she swings through strike 3 there. So we see that she's not as effective when her traits aren't active, which is only against lefties. But we're hoping that we can develop her as well. She is a young player that has potential. Willie Randolph takes 3 straight balls and walk prone gets activated again. He swings at that 3-0 pitch and it grounds out to a really solid fielder in Hito Monchada. Track Statsman comes up, walking in his first at-bat, so no official at-bat in the year yet. We'll see what happens this time around. Quickly down 0-2. Takes ball 1 low. And Track Statsman hits that one into the corner. It is far enough away from Huen for him to be able to get that ball down, but it's only for a single, as Huen is able to get it in pretty quickly. And we have David Ortiz with a pulled hammy, and while he still has some pretty solid hitting stats, it's just going to be tough for him to have to fight through this one, but the manager's opting to make him do it. So with 2 outs, they're really keeping an eye on Statsman over there with already 2 disengagements, and Statsman's taken off, and dang, Cannon does have a cannon for an arm as he's able to get Statsman stealing second for out number 3, and the Bolts have not been able to put anything together consistently, and here comes the Mammo Tanks. Coyle Marshall trying to keep the tanks under control. Quickly down 0-2 is Bobby Bash. Still locked in, even though he struck out in his last at-bat. And it's now even 2-2. Takes ball 3, and with a full count, lines that one right to Chavez for out number 1. So we're able to get through their best hitter. Here comes their second best hitter in Hito Monchada. Arguably their best hitter. Swings through strike 1 there. Takes strike 2. And Hito hits a moonshot, but it's straight up in the air, gets way too under it, and there's Chavez again for out number 2. So he's been busy out there in center field. Up comes Romeo Cannon, who you could say has been the player of the game so far with 2 runners caught stealing already through 3 innings. And he gets a charge into that one. Chavez right there, another one right off the top of the wall. No effort to jump up and make that catch at all. And that's the second time we've seen that from Chavez. So not sure if he's just not comfortable reading the wall like that or what, but hard to say. Those are tough plays anyways, but Coyle lets that one in the wrong spot, and high arcs that one right into the stands for a 2-run shot. The Mammo Tanks takes the lead 2-0 here in the 4th inning. Unfortunate for us for sure, as Coyle was having a pretty good day outside of a couple of solid hits, but that they were able to stay in the park. That one, we can't defend against the balls going out of the park there for a home run. So here comes Fillet, struck out in his last at-bat, and he puts a charge into that one. We do know that our park is pretty shallow there in right field, so the ball gets up in the air and it may not stay in, and it doesn't there. 409 feet for Filet Jones, and they go back-to-back, the Mammo Tanks do, here in the 4th, and it's now 3-0. We don't like to see this, and I was talking about it in the last episode. The way that this AI pulls pitchers so early in the game. I know that Coyle was not pitching the greatest here, but it was 2 bad pitches that he gave up. I don't know if that was the right decision, but Queen comes in and she's able to get that one out really quickly. And we're down 3-0. Still early in the game. This is the bottom of the 4th. And here comes David Ortiz, who dribbles it right in front of the plate for out number 1. So we're starting to see that even though we've changed some of the players around, I think we got better. We're spending more money for sure, but it doesn't seem like it's making that much of a difference on the team just yet. But as I say that, Beefcake McStevens, we've seen him do this so many times in the games that we've watched. He hits his 10th home run of the season, 365 feet, and hopefully that's enough to boost his mojo, but I didn't see it pop there. So he might still be tense in his next at-bat, which is incredibly unfortunate. But this game's not over yet. And Hank Hart grounds straight to Bobby Bash at short. We don't see Wild Thrower kick in. And there's now 2 outs with Prince Chavez coming up to the plate 0 for 1 today. He's had 2 chances to make some catches up against the wall, and we haven't seen those play out. And the last one ended up backfiring on us. I don't know if he makes that catch for sure, but he didn't even make an attempt. That ball just got foul, and he's down 0-2. Takes ball 1. Takes ball 2 inside. That was close. Ball 3 outside, and walk prone is activated here. And takes ball 4. So Prince Chavez, who does have our stealer trait with 2 outs, is going to be on first base with Justin Morneau coming up, who I don't have confidence in, and he is tense. So they're going to keep an eye on him, as they do not want him moving to second base, but I don't know how much they'll be able to do about it with that tier 2 stealer trait. There's disengagement number 2 of 3. They can't do it again. Ball gets away, and now we see Chavez easily take second base, so doesn't even need to steal, but now could steal third to put us in a really favorable position. 3 balls, no strikes, walk prone activated. Justin Morneau swings at a 3-0 pitch. I don't know if he had the green light on that, but I wouldn't have given it to him. And then, of course, takes strike 3. Oof. I don't want to do it because he's so young, but if we start getting competitive, we might need to look at options at first base. He has been a liability for most of this season. Very unfortunate. All right, so we missed out on an opportunity there, but we head back over to the defensive side of things, and we do see Queen Jimenez is back on the mound. Gives up a base hit to a rattled Duncan, their second baseman. And luckily, with Jimenez being a lefty, we do notice that Cole Tattersall's contact trait does not kick in. So back to normal for him. And with 2 strikes and no outs, man on second, takes ball 1 down and inside, and then grounds that one right back up the middle. Same thing Duncan just did. And there's 2 on. The good news here, the only good news here with 2 on and no out, is that this does activate Queen Jimenez rally stopper trait. So you see that her traits go way up, or her attributes go way up here. And again, another development piece. So you might see me make some changes to this team a little bit later in the season. I know I just spent a bunch of money, but I might... Oh, gosh. As Maddie Batts crushes that one on a line right out to right field. Another home run for the Mammo Tanks. That one 403 feet and is now 6-1. I'd like to think we are not out of this game yet. We're about halfway through right now, but I don't know how much longer I'll go in this game. Kendra Kerr comes up. Again, as we've talked about it, we've probably seen her in like every game we've watched so far. Induces a ground ball right in front of home plate, and Hank Hart is able to throw that one over to first for out number 1. Kendra Kerr has been reliable as far as eating up innings, but she hasn't been the usual productive version of herself that we see most of the time when we do these franchises. She gives up a base hit up the middle to Hito Monchada, and that's a 3rd base hit right up the middle for the Mammo Tanks in this inning. Here comes Romeo Cannon, who has a double today on that sky ball that went to dead center field. Lines that one right to track Statsman for out number 2. Runner cannot advance, not nearly deep enough. Here comes Delbert Hyark. Did hit a home run, 2-run shot in his last at bat, which was last inning. So they've been able to get through the order pretty quickly in these middle innings. And there's a ground ball to Randolph. Takes a really nice, easy hop. Throws it over to first for out number 3. And Mammo Tanks are starting to put the pressure on us with 6 runs in the last 2 innings. We got a homer off of Beefcake McStevens, or from Beefcake in his last at-bat, but we're going to need to do more than that if we want to be able to stay competitive in this game. So Kara Pickles has still not done anything on offense. Her offense is not necessarily why we brought her in, but compared to Cardenas, we know that she is better than him talent-wise on offense. Lines that one right to the first baseman for out number 1, and here comes Cash Basket. I was feeling pretty confident about seeing Donovan Instigate be their starting pitcher today, as his skills are not otherworldly by any means, but he has been pitching really well. Cash Basket, that one bloops right over second. Excuse me, in front of Gwen, and she gets a base hit. So she's 1 for 2 today, if I'm not mistaken. And here comes the top of the order, Willie Randolph, 1 for 2 with a single. That single came in the first inning, and then he quickly got caught stealing second. 1 out and two strikes on Randolph, who is tense now. Bloops that one foul. Tim makes more contact there, and that was the 70th pitch for Instigate. And Randolph is able to squeak that one right past Hyark, gets another base hit, and gets back to neutral mojo, as that base hit was able to increase his mojo to neutral. Here comes Track Statsman, and this is what I was hoping to see. He's 1 for 1 with a walk and a single, but now we get to see his RBI hero trait maxed out. This is a great opportunity for the Bolts with 1 out. And he takes 3 straight balls. Walk prone activated. Takes that one hard inside for ball 4, and the ball gets away, but that does not make a difference here. So up comes David Ortiz, who we would have been really excited to see here if he wasn't injured. And the pressure does not play a role here. And Instigate comes out. Here comes Jensen Deputy. And Ortiz is able to come through with a base hit. And the runner, when Randolph comes in as well, 2 runners score there on the base hit up the middle from David Ortiz. Big Poppy comes through. We haven't seen that at all this year. We've seen that he's been able to get things righted, but we haven't seen it yet physically. So that was really awesome to come through, especially with a pulled hammy. And here's our big bopper, Beefcake, who is at neutral mojo. So we did see that mojo increase after the home run, thankfully. Beefcake walks, and the wheels, are they falling off the Mammo Tanks? We still have the bases loaded, and we have 1 out. And here comes Hank Hart. We hope he takes this first pitch. Deputy, he swings at the first pitch, grounds out to second, or to the third baseman. They go around the horn for the double play with the bases loaded to end the inning. And while we were starting to make some rally there, it gets negated immediately, and starting to get on top of Deputy, but that was a really rough way to end the inning and end the rally. So here comes Kendrick Kerr back in, facing off against Filet Jones, who also hit a home run in his last at-bat, and he dribbles that one to Morneau, walks over, touches the bag for out number 1. So Kendrick Kerr is in a groove right now. Sometimes I feel like commentating these games that I'm jinxing the players. I don't know if anyone's superstitious, but let me know if I could be doing anything to create better circumstances for my players. She does get the strikeout on that one, caught looking. And we move on to the bottom part of their order, number 9 hitter, Charlie Duncan, who is still rattled despite getting a base hit in the last at-bat for him. And that one lines right to Randolph for out number 3. And we head to the bottom of the 6th here. It's a 6-3 ball game. So what I haven't seen from this Thunderbolts team this year so far has been fight. Usually they're either stepping on the gas right out of the gate and they hold on to a lead, or we see them fall behind and just stay behind. And Chavez thought about second for a second, but he lines that one down the right field line, and he gets a base hit off of that. So here comes Justin Morneau. What I'm going to ask from him here is to just not shoot us in the foot and don't ground into a double play. That's all I'm asking for here. He is tense. The pressure is starting to increase slightly, but that reverse splits does kick in, so that's why we see Morneau's skills are worse than we normally do. And he bloops that one up. Bobby Bash hauls it in easily for out number 1, and nothing that Chavez can do from first base. Here comes Kara Pickles, and reverse splits does not activate here, as they're both righties. Takes ball 2 there. Has outside pitch, so we'll see if that can be taken advantage of here. Kara has yet to get a hit in her debut since joining the Bolts. And she lines that one right to Hito Moonshada for out number 2. So makes good contact, but right at him. And we saw that Deputy got his mojo back. So he's back to neutral. The cash basket comes out. In comes Elroy Action. This is a pretty interesting scenario for us. Elroy lines that one into the corner. Tattersall's able to get to that quick enough to prevent the runner from advancing to third. And we do see that Elroy Action gets to take advantage of that contact and that speed, and even use that first pitch Slayer trait to his advantage. So some speed on the base pass. We're at the top of the order. Willie's having a good game so far. We're hoping this continues. Rally Stopper is activated, but Deputy is starting to get a little gassed at 22 pitches now. 2 outs, but Willie Randolph, can we get another base hit? Pops that one up. We see High Arc is ranging out into the grass to get that one for out number 3. So again, just another rally that gets squandered for the Thunderbolts, and it's frustrating to see, but at the very least, nice to see that we are getting the team to rally here and there. We just need to put it all together. Kara Pickles gets moved out to left field, and Elroy Action will now take over at shortstop. Kara Pickles, interesting reason why I actually had Boomer Platoon come in as to replace Spitz McKinney is Kara Pickles has a secondary position of the outfield. So Boomer Platoon can come in and be a backup infielder, while Kara Pickles can be a backup outfielder when necessary. So we see that activated here. And a base hit brings up Maddie Batts, who did get a home run her last at-bat. Doesn't really have the talent for this, but she must have found a pitch that she was able to swing through. And she puts a charge into that one, but not nearly as hard as the last time. And Chavez is able to get that one for out number 1. And the runner has to stay at first. Kendra Kerr is starting to reach the end of her day. We wonder if we're going to see her pulled here shortly. And she is, right there. Dawn Guevara comes in. Solid accuracy, but not much else. And 3 pitches. We hope those are 3 pitches that we can use to our advantage against Bash. This is a pretty scary matchup. And Bash just gets that one off the tip of the bat, and easy catch for Elroy Action there at short. Don't know why they put Elroy at short instead of Willie Randolph, but our offense is a little weaker right now with those 2 up the middle. We have 2 outs. We have Hito Moonshada coming up. Runner on first base. And Hito grounds that one to McStevens. Toss over to first. Easy out for number 3. And we have 3 at-bats remaining, 3 innings left for us to start making some noise, put together some quality at-bats, and try and get ourselves some more runs. Was really hopeful to see Track Statsman get an opportunity in the last inning with those runners on, but we do see that he's having a pretty good day, but Deputy, who had reverse splits activated, gets a really good call on the high pitch that gets called for strike number 3. And out goes Deputy, in comes Lee Smith. So we don't have that reverse splits trade activated anymore, but the first pitch, David Ortiz shatters his bat, pops out to third for out number 2. Beefcake walked with 2 runners on, and his last at-bat also has a home run from earlier today. So let's see if he can keep things going. Taking 2 quick strikes from Lee Smith, and now Cake Neglector is activated. Inside for ball 1. High ball 2. 2-2 count. 2 outs. Outside ball 3. And low ball 4. So Beefcake very patient in that at-bat and in this game, as he's been able to have some really good at-bats for the Bolts. He's on first now with 2 outs, and Hank Hart comes up, takes strike 1. So now first pitch player is no longer activated. Takes ball high. And Beefcake steals. It was a hit and run, and that ball goes right to Bobby Bash. Almost able to make that work. You could see Hart was aiming for the left side of the field, trying to get past the shortstop where he normally stands, but it was too slow, and Bobby Bash was able to make the adjustment and get to it quickly. Here comes locked in Romeo Cannon, having a pretty solid day behind the plate. Decent day at the plate. 2-1 count. Guevara still up for the Bolts in the bullpen here, and it's a full count. Takes inside for ball number 4, so he walks to start this inning. Here comes Delbert. High arc again, home run earlier in this game. It was a 2-run shot, has a runner on now, and grounds out to action, tosses over to Randolph. Wild throw. Morneau is not able to scoop it, and had enough time, but rushed the throw and was not able to get the runner at first. So they trade places, and there's 1 out now, and here comes Filet Jones, who struck out twice, but also has a home run. Swings through strike 2 there, 1-2 count. Not sure what happened on that one, as Guevara beans Filet Jones right in the butt, and she boosts his mojo. So now there's 2 on with 1 out. That one's getting a little away from her. Drops that one in for strike 1. She's starting to get a little wild here, and serves that one right up. Chavez goes back, catches that one for out number 2. So wasn't sure if that was going to be another ball right off the wall. We could be out of this inning right now, but instead the runner from second advances to third, and we have 2 outs, first and third. And Guevara is going to stay in. Now here's the other player, Charlie Duncan, who had maxed out clutch, and it's maxed out but not maximum pressure. So even though he's rattled, you see his traits are pretty much back to normal. But he swings through that ball outside for strike number 3, and thankfully Guevara was able to get out of the jam that the defense put her in. And we head to the bottom of the 8th, and again, we're going to need to make something happen here as we're running out of outs. Down 6-3 in the bottom of the 8th. Lee Smith, one of their better bullpen pitchers. And Chavez gets another base hit up the middle. That one just squeaked past the glove of Lee Smith, and Chavez is on once again. First base, no outs, and here comes Justin Morneau. 0 for 3 today. It has been a rough game for Morneau. And he grounds that one to Munchada, turns it over to Duncan, rolls it over to third. They go around the horn once again for another double play, and it just hurts my heart to see this happen. We are quickly down to 2 outs. Carapickles takes ball 1 with that first pitch slayer, swings through strike 1. Still tense today. Grounds that one up the middle and hit that outside pitch. Let's see if that was enough to boost her mojo. It does not look like it was. And now we see Elroy action come up. Another first pitch slayer trait activated here. Takes ball inside, and we're now at max pressure. And takes that one, strike 1. That's a really low strike that gets called for strike 2, and now K Neglector. Ground ball to Bash. Tosses over to first for out number 3. And we move to the bottom of the 9th. We're down 6-3. We've gotten a lot of hits today, 11, but we've only been able to get three runs out of that. So we need to do much better than that. And Guevara comes out with half of her stamina gone to take this 9th inning, and she induces on the first pitch a pop out behind the plate to Hank Hart for out number 1. So we're going to see the 1-2-3 hitters here, and Guevara is going to try and face them. She's tense. I'm not sure why she's tense when she was able to get out of that last inning as well as she did. But she gets that ground ball to Randolph. Randolph tosses it over to Morneau, and that's out number 2. Bobby Bash, who's been locked in for most of this game, is back to neutral. I'm not sure when we saw that mojo change. But Guevara is having a pretty solid day, and I'm surprised that she's looking tense right now. Again, I'm hoping I didn't jinx it. And ground ball to McStevens, able to get that one over the diamond for out number 3. So quick 1-2-3 for Dawn. Honestly, she had a great outing today. And now we just toss it over to our offense, who has battled all game long. Randolph tense now because of the wild throw earlier in the game. And takes the first pitch, swings at it, and grounds straight out to the first baseman. So we're going to need some form of a miracle with our 2 and 3 hitters, one of them being injured right now. Track swings at his first pitch over to Moonshada and loses some mojo on that one. So the good news, David Ortiz has maxed clutch, which essentially just offsets his injury, his pulled hammy. And with 2 outs and bottom of the 9th, ground straight out to High Arc, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Lee Smith and the Mammo Tanks, and they win this one. That was an unfortunate game. 6 runs on 9 hits for the Mammo Tanks, 3 runs on 11 hits for the Thunderbolts, and it all happened in the 4th and 5th inning for both teams. We had some rallies, but we're not able to put it all together, and their team just executed better than ours. Our offense has potential, as we've been talking about over and over again, but they haven't been able to execute. And I also just think it was questionable to have Coyle Marshall come in and get pulled immediately with that workhorse trade. I just think he had a better chance to do more and recover. Queen Jimenez only got 1 out, but gave up 3 hits, 1 being a home run and 3 earned runs allowed. So tough game for her. Kendrick Kerr and Don Guevara both had good outings for the Thunderbolts, but Instigate was able to hold us down, and we weren't able to make anything happen. So Beefcake gets the player of the game with the 1 home run. That's all he did really, but he also worked a couple of walks as well. Maddie Batts with a home run and Delbert Hyark with a home run for the 2nd and the 3rd players. So really rough one. That was the last game that I was really wanting to make sure that we played and watched. Going forward, I think it's truly going to depend. This isn't looking good either. It's truly going to depend on the state of the team. I don't want to watch another game if we're not winning. I don't know if that's what you all want to see. You're welcome to let me know in the comments, but this was a really tough one, and this team has struggled all year long. And so I want to kind of start simming through the rest of the season. We're at game we're at game number 59, so we're at about a quarter or a third of the way through this game, or this season. So I might just kind of fast track us a little bit and see how we play out. But taking a look at some of the activity that just occurred in the after the last game, we saw Boomer Platoon has a um, an opportunity for player development. We also see David Stiffbottom, who has been pitching well for us, has an opportunity for player development. But then we see we have Beefcake lose a little bit of his arm. We also see Kara Pickles, who we just signed as a B plus, lose contact immediately, -7 contact, and drop down to a B. So that's a stinger. That's really unfortunate. So we'll see how this team plays as we go. But if we start to see them continue to lose, we might drop some of this cost in players that are older, and I won't really worry about the chemistry working properly when we're just trying to develop players. So peeking through this, we already decided we weren't going to do this for David Ortiz. Hank Hart's too old. Might consider this one for Stiff Bottom. Volatile scares me. I don't like that trade, especially in Sims when you don't have control over the stamina or the amount of time that a player stays in the game. Platoon's too old. Don't want to give Whiffer to Willie Randolph, and that's all we have right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sim ahead about 5 games, and I want to see where um, Perry is that relief pitcher that we wanted to bring in instead of Knockmore. So I'm going to go 5 games here. So we're at 23 wins right now, and we win 2 out of those 5, and our run differential continues to plummet, now at -86. So taking a look at the opportunities, we see Guevara has another opportunity, not interested. Elroy Action can get +2 arm, +1 power, and a chance for more arm. I like seeing that, and I'll definitely look into doing that. Withers Hansen with another player development opportunity. And let's go ahead and activate those both right now. So let's do this one for Withers Hansen. This is going to be, we have more than enough for this one. We see that junk continue to increase. So +2, chance for +5, does not get it. But we see that +3 for the loyalty to be maxed out. Next, let's do this one for Elroy Action. We'll try and get as much defense on him as possible. Power isn't that significant, but we see we do not get the arm. So +6 to loyalty. Nice little boost there. And Elroy jumps up to a B plus with that. So really nice to see there. I'm thinking, do we want to? Why not? Let's do this one for David Stiffbottom. He might be a bigger part of our rotation going forward. We'll just see what happens. +4 junk, +1 fielding, -2 velocity. Gets the +4 junk, and I'm okay if we do not get this velocity, or I'm sorry, volatile trait, and we don't. So we get +8 junk there, and that maxes out Stiff Bottom's loyalty as well. All right. Sorry, my dog is spazzing out in front of me here, so if you hear that noise, I apologize. Let's go take a look at Mackenzie Perry, and she has dropped below her current value, so we're definitely going to sign her now. And with that signing, we have completed all of the signings that I wanted to do, and this will put our discipline traits completely maxed out. We do drop to 11.4 in surplus, but again, I think this is good if our team is competing. I don't know where I was going with that, but competing. And I'm seeing this guy right here, which is very intriguing, but I don't think I'm interested in that cost right now. Definitely let me know what you think about. Oof. That'd be pretty interesting. What would that look like? We'd have 5.8 for surplus. So if we start winning, I don't think he'll last for much longer. He's also 37, so there's not much past this year. I don't think this makes sense for our team, but you always are interested in players like that. I'm going to go ahead and continue simming for a little bit longer here. And again, you'll see my system. I kind of sim 10 games, check what happened during those 10 games, and also check to see what player development options are available. So we're going to sim 6 here to get us to the 70th game of the season completed. This is 3 against the grapplers, 3 against the hot corners, so we're playing some divisional rounds here. We're currently at 25 wins. After these 6, we're at 28. So we won 3 out of the 6, so 3 and 3. Curious. We won 1 against the grapplers and we won 2 against the hot corners. So nice to see there. And with that, we see Cash Basket has a huge boost to her power, plus 11 there, which is awesome to see. Hank Aaron does finally get signed. Tish Ballin with an opportunity to improve her skills. See Queen Jimenez with a player development opportunity, but a chance to lose Rally Stopper. That is a risky decision for me that I'm not interested in. We also see Beefcake has a chance for more power, but will lose contact and also has a chance for that high pitch trait to disappear. I'm not interested. Digiswingin's not going to do anything for you. And we do see that Donald McFurlow gets signed as well. All right, I'm going to sim some more. I'm sorry, let me double check the player development. Was there anything here we were looking at? Tish Ballin, we can do that one right now as well. See that speed and arm increase with a chance for more speed and a chance for more versatility in her backup positions. We don't get that speed boost. Do we see the secondary position open up? No, we do not. All right. And then Boober Platoon, no. Beefcake, no. Queen Jimenez, I am not going to risk this. Rally Stopper is the trait I signed her for. She's 19. We don't need to see anything decrease. We just want to see the improvement. So it'd be nice to see her gain a 5th pitch, but I'm not going to risk Rally Stopper for it. All right. Moving forward, skip ahead. We get to I'm actually going to sim to the 81st game because that is the halfway point in the season. And then we'll check some stats really quick if I have time. Simming ahead, we just jumped past the Milwaukee Mammo Tanks. We won, what was that, 6 games out of those 11, so that's really nice to see. Justin Morneau with a chance to increase speed and arm and also get a backup position of third base. We see David Ortiz lose 2 more contact, which is not awesome to see happen. Some more players getting signed. Withers Hansen loses 1 fielding. That's okay. Chandler Beard does get signed for way more than I would have been willing to spend. And looking at player development, I don't think anything changed here except for the Justin Morneau one. Yep, we're going to do this one for Justin. Getting that speed and arm, chance for more speed, chance for a backup position. And nothing to the speed. That's unfortunate. And we do not get the backup position. Little bit of a boost to the loyalty there. All right, I only have a minute or so left, but just really quick want to check out the league leaders. And we see that none of our players are leading the league. Maurice Brick, perennial league leader, is the #1 spot right now. Hammer Longballo is the #1 offensive player. Trekking through the stats here, I'm just looking for our players to be highlighted. We don't see anyone in the batting average, home run, or RBI field. No one's hitting on base, slugging, or OPS. No hits, no extra bases, no strikeouts, which is good at least. And we don't see anyone in the run scored or stolen base category. So even though Chavez has that stealer trait, he's not using it. Pitching side of things, no one's standing out for wins, ERA, or saves. Our team is struggling. No one is in the leaderboards for any of these categories. I'll take a look at the team's stats to start off the next episode, but thank you all so much for watching. Again, look in the, or let me know in the comments if you have any questions, any comments, any feedback, anything you want to share. Look forward to seeing you all next time. Bye, everyone.